So, it's New Year's. Happy New Year. And I know I still have, the time in London and Paris and then the journey home to do, but I'm going to do a quick video of, like, the 2 weeks after I got back, just to catch up a little bit, because I wrote it all down. Because I knew I still wanted to do the videos even if I am months behind in doing them. But the paper I wrote it on is all ratty, so I want to throw it away. And I know I'm going to do that tomorrow, because that's what I try to do within the first couple days of the new year, is I go through all of my stuff and papers and knickknacks, and I try to get rid of things that I don't need anymore, or things that look worn, you know, just old stuff. So I'll do another video with the London and Paris and the trip back. But after I got back, I've been gone for just over 2 weeks, so I immediately had to do a deposit pickup for one of my clients. And so I go around to all of these shops and I pick up the deposits and give them new change for the next 2 weeks. I usually do it on Saturdays, but I didn't get back until a Tuesday night or Wednesday. I don't know, it was a couple days late. So that's like after I got back, the very next day I did that. And then let me look. This is why I keep notes. Okay, so then after that, there was some other errands and stuff that needed to be done, and I kept a couple days open for that purpose. And so I did all of those, and then I'm not really going to go into detail about them, because some of the details of stuff that I do for my clients, I feel like just knowing my name, you could find them. And I want to give them as much privacy as I possibly can, because I would want that same respect if I was on the other end. What was I doing? Oh, okay, so I spent the next couple days doing that, and then on that Saturday I was supposed to meet up with my uncle, but then we ended up doing it on Sunday instead, because he had to change last minute. So we had brunch, late brunch. Really, it should be called dinner, but I always think dinner time is like 5. So if you're eating at like 3, it's not really lunchtime anymore. So we ate at like 3. But we had like breakfast food, so whatever. And we were supposed to go on a walk, but we didn't end up doing that either, because we're both super lazy. And I just sort of chilled, because that trip was a lot. I'm a social person, but I also thoroughly enjoy my time to myself. So being around people, lots of people, especially strangers, for that many weeks straight it was a lot. So I needed a little bit of a detox. So I didn't really do anything Saturday since they canceled, and then I didn't do anything other than meet with my uncle on Sunday, because I usually don't do any work on Sunday. So on Monday, I did more work for another client, and we split it in half. We did some of it on Monday, and then we did the other half on Tuesday, because it took longer than we had anticipated, and she had other things to do, so we couldn't just spend the whole day at her house putting together stuff. And then I had a day set aside and I went and visited my grandma and my grandma. The grandma that I visited, because I have quite a few of them, is my mom's mom. I call her my Grandma Arizona. She's also my Grandma Sally, I guess, but I don't think I've ever really called her Grandma Sally. I totally should, because my stepdad's mom is Grandma Jean, and Jean is obviously her name. And then my step mom's mother is Grandma Dale, and Dale is her name. And then I have my Nana, which is my dad's mom, and then I usually just call her Grandma, but then when we were living in Rochester and all of that, we ended up starting to call her Grandma Arizona. But now that I live here, I feel like I should I feel like it's weird to say, oh, I'm going to visit Grandma Arizona. Everybody knows who I'm talking about, but she's my Grandma Sally. I'm gonna start calling her that. So went to go spend the day with her, and she surprised me while I was there. And my aunt and uncle were visiting. They live up just before or after Flagstaff, I can never remember, but they live north a couple hours, so I don't get to see them very often because they're very busy. They work all the time. And so they came to visit, and I was visiting, and one of my cousins, because my grandma lives on one of my aunt's property. Okay, my grandma built one of those, oh god, I can't remember the name. What is it? I don't remember. I want to say it's a model home, but I don't think that's right. A modular home? Okay, so it's not a trailer home, which I know that it's, she gets really mad if you call it that. So, it's a movable home, but like you have to have, you only like move it twice. Like when she bought it, she had to have the septic tank and everything added in on the property, and hooked up and all of that. And then it's a couple feet above ground. Maybe it is a model home. Anyway, but it comes on trailers. It's like cut in half. It's like cut right down the middle of the fucking house. And it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, full whatever. I don't remember the square feet or any of the other information about it. It's nice. But so they bring, once all the under stuff is done, the septic tank and all of that is hooked up and passes inspections, then they put the home in, and it's usually 2 halves because they make it at their, wherever they make them, I don't know. And then they like put it together, and then they do all the detailing work and stuff that needs to be fixed because it's been sitting on a lot for who knows how long. So she built one of those on my Aunt Brittany's property. And my Aunt Brittany lives in Levine, and she has a bajillion freaking kids. She doesn't really. She only has 6. But it seems like she has a bajillion kids because they're just... So some of them are loud, some of them are quiet, but they're all super energetic, so it feels like there's like 20 of them. And I love them, don't get me wrong. I do, but they are exhausting. Like, I know the entire family has at one point or another said that they spending a day there, they need the next day to rest, because when all the kids are there, it's a lot. There's always somebody going. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so visit my grandma, and she didn't tell me that my aunt and my uncle were coming, which was a nice surprise. And then one of my cousins, the youngest, Lizzie, she came and she had dinner, well, not dinner, lunch. My grandma provided lunch for all of us, and we all talked and hung out and spent the day, most of the day together. I think we all left in the afternoon, because they have a long drive back, and I wanted to beat the traffic, because Levine to Scottsdale is like bleh, horrible 5 o'clock traffic if you're driving at that time. Like, it's really, really bad. So I knew if I left a little early, I'd miss most of it. I still think I hit a little bit, because I almost always hit a little bit on the 10. But yeah. So then did that, and that was notes. Okay, so that was Wednesday, and so there's Thursday. I can't pull up my calendar because it would end the video. It was either Wednesday or Thursday that happened. And I worked in between that, just some piddly little stuff, not a lot, not a lot of stuff going on in October. It's not a busy month for me usually. Maybe a little bit if there's some like leftover school stuff for the clients who have kids. But yeah, I don't usually do a lot in October. So then it was time to, I didn't do anything on that Friday. I know I didn't do anything on Friday, so I think my grandma's was on Thursday. So then it was time. Oh, getting back. Even though it makes me have neck rolls. I forgot what I was saying again. Okay. Grandma's on Thursday. Nothing on Friday. And then it was time to do the deposits again on that Saturday. So I went and did the deposits on Saturday and some other errands and stuff. And then I don't think I did anything else after that. Yeah. And then on Sunday, I met with my friend Taylor and we went out. It was nice. And yeah, that was the week and a half after I got back from my trip. Because I got back on Tuesday, I think. Tuesday. And, so that was the rest of that week, and then the whole next week, and all my other notes are in my notepad, so I don't quite remember what I did, because it was so long ago. I know I didn't do anything on Sunday, because I never do anything on Sunday. I think it's really important, especially if you have your own business, and this is something that I learned both through experience and through talking with people and from seeing my stepdad who owns his own business and how he ran it, and he just got burnt out. Like, he was working all the time, every single day. Like, the man rarely takes vacations, and even when he does go on vacation, he usually will get up butt crack of dawn and work for a few hours before everybody else gets up, and then goes and has the fun for the day. I don't want that to be my life. We missed him. He missed a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, he was still there for like the big things, but especially when he was just starting his business, I feel like he missed a lot of stuff going on with me and my brother Sam. And it was always me, Sam, and Mom doing things together. I mean, which gave us a really tight-knit relationship, but yeah. So I think it's really important to make sure that you have time to do nothing. And I don't mean actually do nothing, but unless that is what you want to do. You want to spend a whole day freaking sleeping and then work all other 6 days, and that makes you happy, you do you, boo. But for me, I usually like to do some sort of craft. I usually have a project I'm working on. To be honest, I usually have a couple projects. I get bored with things, and so like I'll start a project and then I'll do like a portion of it, and then I'll be like, I'm not in the mood to do that, and so then I start a new project. So like I'm knitting. Oh, I don't want this to fall off. I'm knitting this blanket because I have this baby fabric. Like, what else are you gonna make with it other than a baby blanket? So I have that project going right now. And then I have an advent calendar that I'm putting together, and it's Christmas themed. And yes, I know Christmas is over, but it'll be for next year. I was going to do it when I was on vacation, but I ended up doing other things instead. I like binging Downton Abbey. And then I have something else going. What was it? I'm in my room, in case you did not recognize the fake wall. Or, not the fake wall, the fake wood. But I know I have another project. Oh, I scrapbook. So, I'm putting together a scrapbook for the trip I went on. And then I also have a scrapbook for all of the events and stuff that I've gone to. I keep like little mementos, like if you get a wristband, I keep the wristband, or a ticket, or, and I usually make sure I take at least a picture of something, or myself, or whatever, something, so I can write a little blurb about it. So I work on that, putting it together. It's not a lot. It's very basic. My grandmother would be horrified because she was a whole scrapbooker. Like, she gave all of her children. Now, this is my grandma Sally, and she scrapbooks, or she used to. She doesn't anymore. So she made life scrapbooks of all of her kids, and that's her biological kids and my grandpa Norman's kids, my grandpa Norman is who she remarried. So it was my Uncle Scott, my Uncle Dan, my Uncle Jody, and my mom, her biological children from her first husband, Grandpa Marty, who I never met. Anyway, so she has 4 children. And then Grandpa Norman, the only grandpa I ever really knew from my mom, because I never met Grandpa Marty, even though I knew I had a Grandpa Marty, if that makes sense. So then Grandpa Norman had Aunt Brooks, Aunt Garland, and Uncle Breck. That is not the order thing. Uncle Breck is actually the oldest. So he had 3 kids from his first marriage. And I actually don't even know what their mother's name is. And I feel like that's kind of bad, but also, why should I? And then, so when my grandma and my grandpa got together, they had a kid, and that's my Aunt Brenny, and that's the one whose property she lives on and has the bajillion kids. So scrapbooking. So she made 8 books for them. And it had old report cards and any pictures she could find, school pictures, regular pictures. And by regular, I mean like candid, like birthday parties, like, I mean, everything. All put together, all with little notes in her cute little handwriting and stamps. And it looks awesome because she's amazing. And then, after she was done with theirs, she made them for the grandkids. Well, for some of the grandkids, because this was like 15 years ago when I was a teenager is when she made these. So she told all of the kids that if they sent her photos of the grandkid, then, and she would put together scrapbooks and do the whole thing. So obviously my mom sent in stuff for me, and she sent in stuff for my brother Sam, and then she sent in stuff for my brother little David, who my grandma had only met a couple times, but my grandma is super thoughtful like that, and she didn't want him to feel left out. And we had a ton of pictures of him because my mom had known him since he was like 2, even if my grandma didn't met him and wasn't close to him. So we all got scrapbooks that went from when we were born. Actually, I think mine and Sam's even have my mom's belly pictures in them, which is kind of cool because it's like, I mean, we're technically in the picture, but we're in her belly. It's nice. So she made the scrapbooks from then up until however old we were. And I'm pretty sure I was like 14, 15. I don't remember. I would have to look. And so like, it's like, you know, the thick 3-inch binders. So I got one of those jam-packed full. Sam got one of those full but not like jam-packed, and little David got one that was full but not jam-packed either. And then my mom's book had 2 3-inchers, both full. And I don't know what my other aunts and uncles had, but I know that they all got books. So, but it looks so cool. And I always thought that was it's a really great way to remember things from when I was a little kid, and birthday parties and gifts. And, like, I know that I got the, Heggity Peg book on my 7th birthday because of those photos. I know that, when I was 6, the Christmas when I was 6, I got a life-size Barbie, and there's photos of me opening her box up and being so excited, and then me because I'm a little kid, and life-size Barbie was huge. She was my size. So I put on her dress, and I put my nightgown on her because I didn't want her to be naked. And so, I mean, yeah, those are memories that I probably would have had vague recollections of, like, oh, I remember this one Christmas I got this really cool life-size Barbie, but I probably wouldn't have remembered every little detail. And because of the scrapbook, I do. It makes it easier to recall the memories. It makes it something that I can physically show people and bring them into that part of my life if they didn't see it. And I feel like it shows, you know, people are the sum of their life. And while you can't just read somebody's scrapbook about their life and know them, it opens up a huge window into who they are and things that have happened to them. So I love it. So I make my own. And yeah, It doesn't look as nice as my grandma's, but what can you do? My end goal is once the book is full, to go through and like spruce up little things, but like to have a theme throughout the whole book that spruces it up, so that I can buy enough. Basically, I want to be able to buy enough materials to do the sprucing to the whole book at once. So I don't know, we'll see. And I might eventually show it to you in a video. Probably not, but maybe. So yeah, I don't even remember where this conversation started. I'm gonna have to rewatch this video because it was at like 13 minutes when I got to the week and a half in, and I was like, 13 minutes, that's not very long. Maybe I'll talk for a couple more days. And then I went into a whole spiel instead. But I don't know why I started it. But now it's 26 minutes long, so I'm going to cut it off here. This is my rant for the day. Yeah, I think I might do another short video with the next week, and then talking about my mom because her birthday is in October. So anyway, I hope y'all had a wonderful New Year's. I went to a New Year's, I'll tell you about that later when it actually caught up. But yeah, bye.